Well, good evening. I'm Jay Height, and thank you for joining us as we host, I believe this is our third virtual banquet, and this is our opportunity to share with you some of the exciting stories of folks in our community that God has privileged us to come alongside to minister to in a variety of ways. Join with me tonight is our Assistant Executive Director, Andrew Green, our Chief Program Officer, Becca Kidd, and our Development Officer, Colton Williford. And so we are appreciative of you giving us some time to hear from us. And I'm going to just say an opening prayer, and then we will get started. Father God, we thank you for the privilege to tell your story of your kingdom here in the city. May we be about the work of bringing about your kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to share your story in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, we are excited to share with you. We have 6 focus areas, and I'm going to share with you the first of those. Tonight, we're going to watch a video about one way Shepherd is able to help our families with one of the very much huge issue of housing. And you're going to see how in partnership we're helping families with Habitat for Humanity, providing housing for some of our neighbors.
I didn't think I'd ever be a homeowner in general. I thought I'd be living in apartments for the rest of my life. So it's a big thing. It's super big.
So initially I met Erica through her mother, Paula, when Paula attended our church service. And then eventually I became the teacher to 2 of her kids through Academy, because I was an Academy teacher during my time at Shepherd.
Swim along with me. Do you know who they are? My aunt went to church at Shepherd and she invited me and my mom. My mom started working for them with Project Jordan, and then she heard about an opportunity for me to go to school to get a certificate in early childhood development and a possible job opportunity. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good to me. I already have kids. I love kids. Where are you going?
And then Erica became a staff member at our Minnie Hartman daycare facility, and I became the professional development coach, and so our relationship continued in a different capacity as coworkers. There was a time period where Erica needed housing, and so I was able to connect her to our housing person at Shepherd, and through that connection she learned about Habitat.
Shepherd knew I had been looking for like an apartment or a house to rent for a long time. It was kind of hard. I had like one eviction that was 7 years old. They told me about an opportunity to come to a meeting for Habitat for Humanity. Went to the meeting, filled out an application, and Shepherd helped me with all of that.
It's a lot of work. There are multiple classes, like 20 classes that they have to take, and then there's hours that they have to put in, like sweat equity towards the building time. There's work projects that they have to do, so they've worked on other people's houses and some hours on their own houses.
I took 19 weeks of classes every Tuesday from 6 to 8. I went, they taught me about finances and how to take care of a home. I went through a class about how to use power tools. And then just a couple weeks ago, I got my house.
Well, once I heard that the opportunity was there, I knew that it would come, because Erica is such a hard worker. And so I knew that she would do everything that she needed to do to get here today.
What's changed in my life since I've been with Shepherd? I have a more stable job. I was able to go to school. I'm almost done with my CDA, and being able to have my own place that I don't have to worry about evictions or being put out anytime or people changing my rent. You know, like, it's a lot of security now.
And so this is a beautiful, beautiful house, and it's 5 bedrooms, which is plenty of room for her and her family, and it's just a wonderful house.
Kelly knows has been there the whole way. She's a really great person. The simplest thing, she's there for me. She's probably like my main contact at Shepherd.
I'm extremely proud of Erica and the work that she's done, and just her perseverance through everything to get where she is today.
Well, housing is about a building, but housing programs are about relationships. And that's the blessing we have where our staff and volunteers are able to help families. And you'll find as we hear these stories tonight, it's not these standalone programs because Erica came through our jobs program. She came through a variety of our programs to get hired to work at Minnie Hartman. Andrew, talk a little bit about what she does there at Minnie Hartman.
Sure. So we're so glad to have Erica on our team at Minnie Hartman. She is in the classrooms, and like she mentions, she's working towards her CDA, which is a Child Development Associate certification, and she's almost done with it. And she's spending all of her days investing in other kids and helping them learn and teaching curriculum, providing a safe place for them to be. So she's just spending each and every part of her day building back into the community as well, which is really awesome to see.
Well, we are excited for Erica and one other young lady who got a home through our partnership with Habitat. We're working with some other projects in the neighborhood and other partners to try to bring housing about. There's a great need, and we want to be a part of that. But we're also partnering with citizens to take 4 of our homeowners and help them review their homes, determine how we could reduce their utility costs through improvements. And Citizens has given us some money to do that, and we appreciate that partnership as well. We're going to continue in our conversations tonight, and tonight we're going to hear about one of the huge challenges. Inflation is a disproportionate tax on the poor, and hunger is an unfortunate reality and is growing in our community. And you're going to hear a little bit about what we're doing, and we're going to come back and talk about from Becca how we deal with hunger in our programs. And I'm going to ask Andrew to share a little bit after this video about some of the programs we're doing to get food into the homes of our families.
My name is Pamela Hernandez. I deliver food for Shepherd and run the food pantry. My son is a pastor, and he had told me about the volunteering for food, to do the food pantry. I'm a caring person for people. I'll do anything for anybody. I just don't like to see people go hungry or do without any clothes, any housings. It really impacted my life a lot.
I've been with Shepherd for over 12 years. They do a lot for the community. I mean, not just the food. They have things for the children. They have after school programs. They have several programs for the children. And I have a 15-year-old, so they've inspired me a lot. I mean, a lot of people that can't get out, don't drive anymore, like me, it is hard sometimes to get food, and we look forward with the relationship that we have with anybody that from Shepherd that delivers the food. We look forward to seeing them.
Me and hers really got a bond together. Shepherd, to me, if it wasn't for Shepherd, I don't know how the other organizations are. But to me, without Shepherd, I don't think any of these people, they would be a lot more people in hunger.
And I do want to say that the Shepherd community that they help, they're they're blessed. Food insecurity, I think there is no food insecurity. I believe that there are people that can get the food, even then 46201, everywhere. There's just some people that can't get out and get it. And that's where Shepherd comes in, and it's truly a blessing. I just want to say that it's truly a blessing, and I'm so thankful that I don't have to worry about being hungry, and my child doesn't have to be worry about being hungry. Times are hard, and inflation's high, and if I don't need it, I call them and tell them I don't need it, because I don't take it when I don't need it, because somebody else could use that. But thank you for being there, Shepherd. Thank you for being there for me and my daughter.
We're blessed to have such a tremendous partnership with Gleaners where they make possible for us and discount food for us so that we can get that food out, and a lot of other partners who donate to us, and groups and businesses and churches, they make it possible. Becca, talk about how we deal with hunger in our programs.
Yeah. Well, any student who is enrolled in our academy is getting breakfast and lunch while they're with us. And we have a on-site at Shepherd, a full service kitchen. So the chef is making food that kids want to eat, but it's also nutritious and follows, they get a fruit, a grain, a vegetable, dairy, and protein at every meal. And then if a student is then also in our after school program and the elementary programs, they're getting dinner at our East Washington elementary location. So if the students in the academy and the after school, they're getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner with us. And then on our offsite at a local IPS school, we get dinner brought in there as well. And dinner is provided through a partnership with Second Helpings, which is a food reclamation nonprofit, and they've been a great partner for us in providing dinners for our elementary students. And on the weekends, when students go home from school on Friday, they get a weekend pack, which is just a simple bag of easy food that can be made at home to help keep them nourished over the weekend. And any lengthy school break, so spring break, fall break, Christmas break, students go home with totes of food as well to help get them through the extended school break.
We're trying to each and every day make sure our folks have access to healthy food and to the students as they come in. Andrew, talk about the food distribution programs we have.
Sure. So, like we've been talking about, all of these efforts are about creating more access to food. And so, in addition to the ones Becca mentioned, we have some other ways throughout the week and throughout the month that we give opportunities for folks to get additional access to food. So actually, we had one today. We do a mobile food distribution 2 Fridays, the first and the third Friday each month, and that's a drive-through food distribution. So folks can come and they get a huge selection of things from meat, dairy, produce on these days, and we help actually load up their trunk and send them on their way. Some great volunteers were here again today helping. So that's a big opportunity, as well as every Saturday we do our food pantry. And that again is a chance for folks to come and they have an opportunity to shop for the things that are a good fit for them and head home with those. We also do food delivery. So if you're someone in our neighborhood that you don't have the opportunity or not able to get out and about, if you're homebound, we have food deliveries each day, Monday through Friday, that are happening as well, again, through staff and volunteers that are helping make that happen. And in our partnership with Gleaners, again, where we make food deliveries to folks and have an opportunity to connect to that way as well. So a few different opportunities in addition to what Becca mentioned that are happening, each day of the week and throughout the month.
And folks can volunteer in this area by contacting Donna Alexander, Donna A at shepherdcommunity.org, or they can call Shepherd and we can connect you. We need volunteers to help on Saturdays. We need volunteers to help on the home delivery. I know my wife and I have the privilege of doing that each week, and it's I think the thing that struck me as I was watching the video, one of the young kids that we've spent a lot of time with in our life, mentoring and deliver food to his house, he was helping deliver with Pam. And so it's exciting because our neighbors run the pantry on Saturday. Colton, what are ways folks could support our hunger efforts?
Yeah, like Andrew said, volunteering at one of those three, food distribution, the food deliveries or the food pantry, but also if you, your church, the organization that you work for, would like to collect non-perishable items for us for our food pantry, that would be a major help. You can also go on to our website and click the in-kind link there, follow our Amazon or Target wish list page and purchase items that get directly shipped to Shepherd. And those items will go into either the weekend food packs that we send out or into our food pantry for our neighbors.
Yes, well, thank you. And one of the things as we get ready to transition to our third area for the evening is health. But just a couple weeks ago, we did a food drive-through pantry on a Friday, and I think it was 31 folks got a flu vaccine that day in a partnership with Eskenazi, where they provided folks, and we appreciate that. Again, the story of health is a story of partnership with Indianapolis EMS, where it's a partnership with folks like Eskenazi and others as we deal with health issues in helping our neighbors have access to those services so that they can get away from sick care to health care. Let's watch this video.
I was at work on the west side that day, and I got a call saying that they just verified who I was and where I lived, and they said that Isaiah had had an accident and they needed me to come home. And I said, can you just tell me if he's okay? And they said that they would discuss it when I got there.
We responded on a person shot, and we get there, we were the first on the scene, and there was nothing in the notes other than it was an unsecure scene and that someone had been shot. As we're walking up to the house, it became very, very apparent very quickly that this was a child.
The whole time I'm driving, I'm calling, trying to find out what's going on, and then finally I did reach Dee, and he told me that Isaiah had been shot.
And so he's laying right inside the front door, and I go to work, and I roll, and it's this 13-year-old boy, and he's got a gunshot wound right through his sternum.
I came up to the house, and there was yellow tape, and I lost it some more, and then they let me know that Isaiah was not there. He had been gone to the hospital.
The brother was there, and he's going completely bonkers, rightfully so. But for me to work on him, and his brother's trying to get to him, so Adam kind of has to go hands-on with the brother. So they're kind of tussling above me as I'm starting to work on this child. And there's very few times, I've been at it a long time, but there's very few times in your career where you look at a child and you say, I'm going to watch this little boy take his last breath.
I found out later that the young man had brought the gun to my home. I had explained to him that I did not want him in my house, did not want him around, but he came anyway. My son thought that they would just get dressed and be gone, but he went into Isaiah's room and was playing with the gun while Isaiah was playing his video game. When he put the magazine in, his finger was in the chamber and it shot Isaiah in the chest.
This kid, 16-year-old, brought a gun into my house, and he was playing with the gun went off and they shot me in my chest.
Isaiah went into shock and his bedroom's on the second floor.
And I got up and I started to like walk down the stairs. And then last thing I remember, like before they helped me, I fell into the door, and then my brother and my friend caught me, and they were both crying.
You know, the ambulance gets there. I was able to give him one of our expanded protocol medications that fortunately I get to carry that kind of helps with platelets and clotting. And so we were able to give him that medication. And what we don't see in public safety or in emergency medicine is a traumatic injury where they're unresponsive and there's nothing that you're doing that's correcting that. And then to be able to fix them to the point that they're able to talk to you. And that's exactly what we did with this kid. We oxygenated him. We were breathing for him. We did some corrective action where we stuck needles in his chest to deflate any air that was trapped in his chest cavity. And he was able to tell us what his favorite video game was by the time we got him to the hospital.
They took good care of him in the hospital. So he was in there for 19 days, from the 9th to the 23rd.
And so he survived a surgery. He lacerated it. It messed up some of his pulmonary arteries and some of his pulmonary veins, but he's now at home.
Without the two of them helping him, he wouldn't be here today.
Mom just went back to work this week because she took the rest of the summer off to be with her son. And Shepherd was able to step in and help with some mortgage assistance, which took a huge weight off of Mom. And now he is now enrolled in after-school programs through Shepherd.
Shane and Adam have been wonderful, checking in on him, giving him encouragement, taking him fishing. He wanted to do that. He's been asking for months. He loved. He got like 4 or 6 fish that day. There should be a Shepherd Community Center mentality or one of these in every community. The support that Shepherd has given us since then and continues is priceless.
Again, the theme that you're going to hear is partnerships. We're doing this with others. And you see the integration. So our family services, our neighborhood engagement teams are helping with the family in a relationship that was started in a very tragic way. And Isaiah is in our after school program, and we are engaging with this family on a regular basis. And I am thankful for the opportunity out of a very tragic situation that there was some good news. We, in partnership with the city, employ a full-time IEMS, Indianapolis Medical EMS Services paramedic, who is teamed up with an IMPD reserve police officer to work in our neighborhood. We pay them, and then they do things like what you just heard. But they're also helping us do flu vaccines. And Becca, how many flu vaccines did we end up doing for the month of October this year?
Yeah, we did 129 total, with 4 of those being drive-through clinics that we held on site and 4 being clinics we held at senior centers and partner centers out in the city.
That's great. And we are continuing to work at trying to help our families achieve health care and not sick care. As we get ready to transition to our next, again, you've already heard a little bit about this, but Shepherd has a focus. How do we help our neighbors get employment? The state refers to it as ABC: A job, B, better job, C, career. And we're wanting to help move that along. But we're starting much earlier at helping high school students find the ways that they can access into their career. We've had over 10 who our great friend and partner, Pat O'Brien at O'Brien Toyota, that were employed there. And we have other employers who are working with us to help our high school students. But we're really proud of this story that starts at a very early age, but it's all about how do we move you to employment.
My name is Jonathan Batista. I'm an environmental manager. I've been working for IDEM for almost 3 months. What I like about my job is, the ability to, use my skills and knowledge, What I like to do is like the idea of that I'm protecting my fellow Hoosier citizens. I'm assigned for Marion County, so given like, the job role of taking care of everything that happens in Marion County, I think it's a big role. It's kind of intimidating, especially since it's my first job out of college. So I was first introduced to Shepherd. I think my mom started taking me in elementary. So we used to go to church, or sometimes we would just go to I think they would like give out food supplies to families, and I think my mom would go to that. But I started getting involved with Shepherd in middle school, their after school program, while I was attending Harshman at that time. My mom, she kind of like forced me to go. But I actually really appreciated that because I met wonderful people. I met Ashley and Kobe around that time, and Amanda when she was working there. I was involved with the extracurricular activities that they had, the clubs. They kind of expanded our network because we got to meet wonderful people. And some of the friends I still talk to now that were in the program. And yeah, that's pretty much how it started with the after school program.
But Jonathan was just always kind of self-motivated. He was just one of those kids that wanted to do well and really kind of had plans, you know. I didn't catch that a lot with the other two siblings. Like they kind of, played around and did stuff, but Jonathan really always kind of wanted something more. And he was determined to do that. And so when he went to IU, I was like, yeah, good on you, man.
So I obviously met Kobe through the Shepherd program. He was very different from the rest of the staff. He was more calm, but he was definitely silly when he wanted to be. I feel like he was probably he was more connected to God. Not to say the other staff weren't, but he definitely did follow. Like he definitely sets up his life to follow God, and that kind of encouraged me to do the same.
But I think what Shepherd does is it provides those opportunities that they may not get otherwise, exposure to things that they may not see otherwise. And, again, for a kid that wants to make that decision for something different, it creates all new world.
I'm very grateful that there's at least an organization that cares about us and hasn't left us in the unknown. And you guys are doing something to better the community. And I just want to say thank you to all the staff and everybody that's involved with Shepherd community.
Becca, share with us a little bit about E2E.
So our E2E program was a reorientation of existing programs in response to seeing a shift in the workforce and the needs of the workforce, but also just in the needs of our community as well. And how do we better equip our students to be prepared for the workforce? And so we made the reorientation. We're in our second year of it now, where instead of more of the traditional after school program that you might think of, we wanted to start individualizing the students' experience so that they could begin really crafting their own personal future orientation and then working towards that with the support that Shepherd can help give them through partnerships or just the space needed. So students began developing individualized life plans. We started expanding our business partner base, and students were going on multiple vision trips a month to these different businesses just to see what the possibilities are. Instead of just seeing what's in front of them, they're experiencing a bunch of different opportunities and seeing what could be, so that then they're able to start figuring out what they may want to do with their life. And for many of our students, college is not going to be the opportunity that they step into. And so what can we be doing now while they're in high school to help them get certifications and trainings and apprenticeships so that when they graduate high school, they're ready to hit the ground running ahead of where they would have been otherwise. And so we've really taken that program and made it a pipeline into the adult employment as well, so that they're able to just naturally progress and be supported as they prepare for high school graduation and what's after high school, whether that's enlistment, enrollment in college, or a career. And then our adult employment coach can just seamlessly come alongside them to help ensure that they're supported as they begin working.
Andrew, there at Mini Hartman, many of the staff are folks who come through the program who are from the neighborhood. In many ways, our early childhood program is a jobs program. Explain that to us.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have a lot of our staff at Mini Hartman, like you mentioned. I think there's about 18 of them out of our 20 or so staff there that have been from either from our neighborhood or the first generation coming out of poverty themselves. And so what a huge opportunity. They're making a living wage. Many of them are, just like you heard Erica talking about, many of them are pursuing more education, their CDA, some of their associates, some more than that. And so we're just thrilled to invite them into that opportunity, provide that living wage and education, furthering education, and they're investing back into the community. And it's a really exciting part of what's happening at Mini Hartman right now.
We are so excited. It's exciting for Jane and I to go over and see kids that we knew growing up, and either they're working there or they're bringing their kids because they want their kids. I have to tell you, probably not always the thing you want to do, but I was having an MRI done on a hand injury, and I walk in and the young lady there goes, "Hi, Pastor Jay," and it was a former Shepherd student who grew up in Shepherd, and now she was excited to tell me how she had been a nurse's aide, but she went back and got her medical assistance degree, and now was starting to go back to become an X-ray tech. And I was telling her how proud we were of her. Those are the stories that thrill you. Maybe not when you're at the doctor, and I think I knew her, and I know how crazy she was, and now she's providing medical services, but it is fun. Colton, both in health and in jobs, what are ways people can be involved?
Yeah, I think, from a financial contribution standpoint, a donation of $64 allows the high school student to access career exploration through job visits in our E2E program. And so Becca was kind of talking about that earlier, but also, we do have a lot of partners who partner with us on the E2E side. And so if your place of employment do you think would like to host a group of our E2E students for a tour and just to sit down with them and do maybe a panel discussion on what it takes to be successful in that career path, that would be greatly appreciated. And in terms of, you said health, we're facing a lot of mental health issues in the neighborhood, and so a gift of $71 helps helps fund a counseling session for one of our neighbors. And so I know we do a lot of that here, and I'm thankful for the work Carissa does. And then Becca was talking about the clinics that we do, the vaccination clinics. And so if you'd like to volunteer at one of those clinics, you could connect with us. Again, go to our webpage, shepherdcommunity.org. Click the volunteer link, and those volunteer opportunities are on there. Or email Donna Alexander at donna@shepherdcommunity.org.
Great, thank you. Well, if we looked at what is probably the greatest area of focus for Shepherd Community, it's education. And we're going to hear a story of a young man who spent over 9 years before he went off to college in the programs of Shepherd. And we're excited for this young man as well.
When I was growing up, it was like, can I go to college? I feel like Shepherd helped me change that mindset into making college a possibility. I was 6 years old. I had a friend whose mom told my mom about this Shepherd's after-school program, and soon after my mom went and signed me up, and then a couple of years later, as soon as my siblings got old enough, she signed them up too. Education was something that was always important in our family. My parents sacrificed everything to leave everything behind and move here from Mexico because they wanted something better for their children. I just knew that I wanted to get there. I just didn't know how I would financially support myself. It was definitely a back and forth battle. I just didn't know how to travel the avenues of trying to figure out what college would look like or how I would get there. There were times where I told myself, like, what's the point? Like, why am I still, like, putting this much effort, this much hard work into, like, finishing high school or finishing strong? Like, there's just no point. Shepherd had a big impact on providing me the resources in order to achieve higher education.
Shepherd partnered with X6, and I was blessed because of that, just because I attended Shepherd. And through them, I was able to hear about X6, which is something that they were really passionate about promoting to their kids.
The X6 program, it is a program that seeks out urban leaders that don't have the voice or the resources to pursue higher education. I can remember going through the phases of X6 and being a finalist. I was terrified, if I'm being honest. The people that definitely encouraged me to pursue higher education, Cletus, Colby, Ashley, Amanda, Alicia, I thank them because they were the main drivers into pursuing higher education. But looking back, the selflessness, the love, the care that I experienced from these individuals, I took it for granted. And I told Colby this when I saw him. I thanked him for the patience him and the others had on me. They were so vital into shaping me into the person that I am today. And then Colby especially, I told him that he was also, like, whether he realized it or not, a mentor to me in terms of what it means to be a man of God. They kept pushing me forward, and if it wasn't for them, like, I would have definitely given up. They saw something in me that I probably didn't even know I had. They saw potential for growth where I didn't believe I had any. Again, not just Shepherd, but also X6, I think, for the person that I am today, which is really beautiful, and I'm very thankful for that.
Jorge is currently working at a chiropractor's office as he is preparing to go and become a physical therapist. He was student body vice president at Taylor. We appreciate the great partnership we have with Taylor University that provides scholarships to our kids, and not just getting them on campus, but the support that they provide. And Becca, talk a little bit about what some of those on your team do to help with those students on college campuses.
Yeah, we, as has been mentioned, relationships are really important for all of our students in our programs and all of our neighbors. And so as they head off to college, Taylor is not far. It's only maybe an hour or hour and a half distance wise, but it is light years away for some of these students. And so our staff make it a point to connect with them regularly via text or email, but then also we're on campus once a quarter. We let the students know when we're coming. We're there for an extended amount of time, usually 4 or 5 hours, and they're just able to come in as they have time in between classes to connect. And it's always a great opportunity to just check in with them. And there's not a time where the staff goes and they don't come back saying, okay, this student needs this. What resource can we get them here? How can we help utilize funding to pay this? And so it's always just a really beautiful time of connection and encouragement. And a couple of times a year when they go, they take them little goodie bags and little supports that if you've been a college student, that's always a fun thing to get. And it's an opportunity also for other staff who don't get to go to just write notes of encouragement to the students and just help keep them pumped up to keep going hard and doing their best. And it's just been a really cool opportunity, and one of the highlights that many of the on that team really love to do every quarter.
We are so blessed, but it really starts, education process starts even while we are at in early childhood. Andrew, talk a little bit about how we're preparing kids as early as 2, 3, 4 years old to start into kindergarten and to take that test, that state test, and give us some of the results of this past year.
Yeah, we have a couple of programs that help us do that in the early childhood realm. And one of them is called Project Jordan. And this is a program that the three. And sometimes people don't realize that more than any other time in your life, your brain is growing the most from 0 to 3. And so we have a parent educator, a bilingual parent educator who's connecting with moms and dads in some cases and talking about how they can support their child's brain development, talking about what happens at month 3, what happens at month 6, month 9, all these different ages and what milestones they can be looking for and helping their child achieve. And it's really neat to see them learning about activities that can be happening during that to help stimulate their child's brain development. So much has to happen. There's all these windows of opportunity from 0 to 3. And so Project Jordan really helps to introduce those and talk about them and help those kids succeed and move in that direction. Another aspect of it is Mini Hartman, the child care. So they're learning in each of those classes. Even the infant classes they have curriculum that they're working through, things that they're working on and talking about. Again, the brain development, the social emotional development, what needs to happen at each of those phases. And that happens at the Mini Hartman and at the preschool on site at East Washington as well. And they're, like Jay mentioned, they're preparing for a test that they'll take before they enter kindergarten. And we're seeing numbers the last couple of years in the 70s, 80% of the kids that are going through being ready for kindergarten. And so we are continuing to push towards that being higher and higher each year and offering that resource of early childhood development, early childhood education to help them start off on the right foot. And we know how important that is those first few years of life. And we want to help support parents in that. And those different programs really help to do that.
Bolden, I know there's a way that folks could be involved to help us with our school, our academy.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of ways. Andrew was talking about Project Jordan, and just talking about our academy as well. Donating in-kind items, huge help. Whether that be diapers, wipes, formula, pencils, folders. Go ahead and head to our website if you're interested in that, and click on the link to look at the in-kind list and the needs that we have. Another way would be through a state tax credit donation. And so if you're interested in you think that maybe you need some relief on your state tax credit, Shepherd, we have an SGO program here that you can make a donation to Shepherd. If you make $100 donation, you get a 50% tax credit. So $50 tax credit off of your state taxes. So after this, this will be sent out and they can find out more information about that on that link.
That's great. And education is partnership. We embed staff in IPS at School 58, at Arsenal Tech, at Purdue Polytech. We want quality educational seats for every kid in our neighborhood. So we're great partners with IPS and as well as our own academy there, which we're excited to say if your student has been in our program for 3 years, 90% of them are reading at grade level. And that's our staff is doing an amazing job, and that's moving the needle, and we're thankful for that. We're all Legos created for connection, different shapes, different sizes, different colors, but we're made to connect. And that's what this next video is about. It's a story. It's very personal for my wife and I, because this is a good friend of ours. Not a client. We don't have clients. We have neighbors and friends. And this is a neighbor and friend, and we'll hear a little from Wendy.
It was on State in Washington. My oldest son was young, probably would have been in 2000. And my youngest daughter started going to school there. My oldest son was going to the after-school program there. At first, I was really afraid of Jay. I really thought he was like this pit bull. But as I come to get to know him, and like Jane, I had this like, she doesn't talk to anybody. Like, then I did nursery with her, and she's really nice. She's a really good person. I've known him for the last 25 years. Well, they even stuck like by our side when my kids, it was my first husband, was addicted to drugs, and they even tried to get him help that he refused to get help, and then like he died of a drug overdose, and then they met my second husband, which I was with for 7 years, and like Jerry didn't even he waited to let go until Pastor Jay was back and come to pray over him. Even when Adam was making bad choices, which he's not anymore, they stayed along the side of him. Like he'll send Adam Bible verses or scriptures, and like Adam will read them. Sometimes he'll respond, sometimes he doesn't. I volunteer at the food pantry. Like I've been doing it for the last 25 years. Like on Sunday, I get the bulletins, and like I write the scriptures on the piece of paper. And sometimes people come into my job and they're homeless and stuff, or they're high, or I'll see them on the street and I'll give them this paper, and I'm like, well, they do celebrate recovery on Tuesday nights. They've been good to us.
This isn't a story about Jay and Jane. This is a story of Wendy and how Shepherd has connected to her and helped her. And so many folks have invested in her to where she is a shift manager at Long John Silver's. After Jerry passed away of a cancer battle, we helped her get started in some things to build up her confidence. Now she's working. Andrew, you've also mentored someone that it's a long journey and some days it's difficult. Tell us a little bit about how you've connected to a young man.
Yeah, actually, we recently celebrated hanging out for the past 10 years. So I met him when he was 8. And just thinking about, like you're saying, the long-term connection and relationship, a lot of ups and downs, and him sharing a lot of things over the years, as he has brothers and that are have been in and out of shepherd programs, but also unfortunately in and out with law enforcement. And I remember hearing from him fairly early on of his expectation of life, and that being involved in with law enforcement, unfortunately, was something he expected to happen in life, and that just was crushing to hear. We had a chance to talk about what other expectations he could have, and not all of those have gone as I'm sure as he's planned. But I've loved a quote from, I think it's kind of an anonymous quote, but I think it was sometimes connected to one of the saints. But it says, "Trust in the slow work of God." And I'm hoping that for him, and hanging by his side and hanging with him as much as I can, and seeing those times where we get to reconnect. And just planning to continue in long-term connections and long-term engagement. And that's what we get to do at Shepherd with our neighbors, with our friends. We're here for them. And sometimes that means just letting them know when they're ready, we're here for them. And excited for what will be to come in that relationship as well.
Becca, you too have invested in someone's life.
Yeah. We also just passed our 10-year mark as well. And her birthday's actually tomorrow. She and I started when she was in 3rd grade, and we sometimes reminisce about that time together. She's just graduated high school this last school year, and we'll talk about how awkward and weird that first meeting was, getting milkshakes at McDonald's and trying to figure out what it looked like. And now, it's such a comfortable relationship. But to see her grow and to have walked and had that privilege of walking with her through a lot of development, and as she a few years ago started noticing that she wanted a life different for herself than her family had, and articulating things that I had never put those words in her mouth, but as she just kind of noticed that there was different and that she could have different, and what is it going to take for her to get there, and sit across from her and watch her process through how much she loves her family, but how much she wants different for herself, and how am I going to get there? And just be able to have, like Andrew said, have those conversations with her. It's just been one of the greatest privileges of my life, and I just love her so deeply. And as she kind of figures that out, of she has dreams and desires, but she also has expectations from her family, and how is she going to balance that? Just being able to be that voice and that opportunity to know her, which started because she was a student at the school at Shepherd, and I met her and wanted to mentor her through that, but now goes far beyond that. And it's just a privilege to see her grow and process and become really just one of the coolest people that I know.
And what does she want to do now?
She wants to go to school to be a nurse, but she's, like some of the other students have mentioned, it's a cost and it's a time and it's a big challenge, and she gets very easily overwhelmed because the voices of her family say you need to get a job and help support the family, and she wants to do that because she desperately loves them, but that balance. But she really wants to be a nurse, and so that's where I keep encouraging her to focus on. And we, like has been mentioned, the partnerships that we have with places like Ivy Tech would allow her to do that quite quickly and very affordably. And so I keep putting those opportunities in front of her, and I do believe one day she'll step fully into that.
Thank you, and appreciate all of the colleagues that serve with us at Shepherd, who each and every day, and the volunteers who make it happen. There are ways that you can support us financially. Colton, do you want to just give a last
Yeah,
idea?
absolutely. Yeah. Financial gift of $57 provides help with in-home visits to our neighbors facing loneliness and isolation by our Shalom team, Officer Adam and Paramedic Shane, and some other ways that you could come alongside us and helping us with engaging our community is through porch parties and different block party events that we do to engage our neighbors. And so those porch parties look like maybe a small group from your church or your church coming alongside one of our neighbors and doing maybe some cooking on that individual's porch, and inviting and our staff and that neighbor would invite their neighbors to come and attend. And so just a great way to get to know our neighbors and to come alongside them and to do life with them. So yep, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing an evening with us. And this is God's story, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. And that's what this is about, trying to bring about and flesh out Christ to a community that so desperately needs him. As I said one time to an elected official, it's our job to make the community safe for the police, because we can instill hope. And tonight is all about hope. And we know that if we did not exist, a lot of lives would be headed in different directions. So we thank you and those who support us and invest in the lives of our neighbors through volunteering and giving. We appreciate all of our partners that we've each and every day, whether it's Habitat and Gleaners and INPD and IPS and IU Health and Eskenazi Hospital and IEMS, and I could go on, because it is about partnerships. We can't do this alone, and working with our friends at Elevate and our friends at Young Life. We're in a unique partnership at Arsenal Tech and Purdue Polytech, and one of our staff is with some students from Arsenal Tech this weekend at a Young Life weekend. These are the great opportunities we have to work together to change lives and instill hope. That's what's different. And we appreciate your support. Through the holidays, there's always plenty of ways that you can be involved, and we encourage you to do that. And again, thank you each for sharing tonight with us. And as we go to close, I'm going to ask Andrew Green to close us in prayer.
Lord, we just give you praise tonight as we look back over years of ministry and years where you've invited us, all of us, to participate in what you're doing on the Near East Side of Indianapolis. And we are thankful for each person who could join us tonight, each of the neighbors represented, and all of the neighbors that we have a chance to interact with. Lord, we just ask that you would go before us and that we would follow you well, and that we would love and serve others well. And we're again thankful for your faithfulness to us, Lord, as we pursue being more and more faithful to you, Lord. We give you all the praise in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all.